Hello everyone, welcome to the Daily Nature Journal. So it's a very wet day today and I'm back in the studio. I'm catching up on my weather for the week. So in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to make gorse ink. You find gorse quite a lot here at the coast. It's a very prickly plant. It's got a beautiful yellow flower and it flowers through the winter as well. So I was out gathering it when I went to Goat Island on my little walk in the last video. And there were a lot of flowers where it was pointing down south towards the sea. So I'm going to go next to my page of the ducks and I'm going to draw in a bit of gorse here. And then I'm going to paint the flowers using this. And this is the ink that I made from the gorse. So if you stick around after the painting, you'll see how the gorse ink is made, so you can have a little go at it yourself. Is gorse a plant that's found near you? I don't know if they have it in the US, I think it's a European plant. But if you don't have gorse, you can still use the recipe that I'm going to show you. You can use many different types of flower for this, like daffodils and forsythia. Someone on Instagram used this recipe to make ink from oxalis. So you just got to experiment with different yellow flowers. Though of course always check that you're not using a toxic plant. Alright, so I'm quite happy with the lines here. I'm going to go ahead and show you now how to make the ink. So here's my gorse from yesterday. It's now dried out quite a bit. I've got a jam jar here. I'm going to decant my gorse into that. So I've got a few handfuls worth of flowers here. Now here I have some alum powder. So this is aluminium potassium sulfate. It's quite easy to get hold of and it's non-toxic. I'm going to use teaspoons, so I've got a half teaspoon measure here. I'm going to put 2 of those in. This is going to help the colour come out. It's going to help to extract that colour from these yellow leaves. Got some boiling water. That's roughly twice the volume of the leaves. Now I'm just going to leave that to steep overnight and come back to it tomorrow. So this has been stewing overnight and already the water has started to tint a little bit. So if I dip my paper in here, you can already see that there's some yellow coming onto that, and it'll be interesting to see what that looks like after it's dried. So I now have my pan and I'm going to put my jar in the middle of that pan, now adding boiling water, and I'm now going to take this into the kitchen and get it on the hob boiling away for about half an hour, and then I'll test it again and we'll see where we are. It's the next day and I've got a quite clearly yellow liquid, which is really good. These are my test strips and the ink itself at the moment is still quite subtle. It's a lovely yellow. But what I think I'm going to do, strain out the flowers now. So I'm going to pour that through my funnel. So then what I'm left with is this wonderful yellow fluid. There's a clear colour in that ink. I'm just going to paint a test square and see what it's like at the moment. So it's very subtle right now. I think with several coats it could work alright. But before I add my gum arabic, I think I need to concentrate this a little bit more. So I'm going to add this back to the pan and I'm just going to boil it a little bit more and see if I can reduce the amount of water that's in the ink so I get a stronger pigment from the gorse leaves themselves. If you're interested in getting hold of a vial of this ink and you don't want to make it yourself, you could join my Botanical Ink Club on Patreon. I've got a lot more sediment in the filter this time. And also I've got a fluid that's a lot darker. So I think it was a really good idea to concentrate this down a little bit more. And see if I can get any more of this last bit out. I want to make sure I'm leaving this sediment behind because all of this will destroy the flow of the ink, plus also it can allow mould to grow. So using a very fine mesh like this is a really good idea. So I didn't get very much ink this time. I'm going to have to do some more batches, maybe gather a larger amount of flowers next time, so I can do it straight into the pot here or in several jars rather than just the one. I've got a much clearer yellow pigment this time. You can see that. So it's still a little warm. I'm going to allow it to cool down to room temperature completely before going on to the next stage. This is clearly darker, and I think after a few coats it will be a very beautiful colour. So next I'm just going to add my gum arabic. So I'm doing 10 to 20 millilitres per 100 millilitres of ink, and you can see I'm kind of below that, there must be about 30 millilitres. So I brought that down to 5 millilitres of the gum arabic. And all that's left to do now is to just get this into a vial. So as I said, I haven't got much of this, so I'm going to do another few batches. So added a couple of drops of thyme oil to the top, and I'm also adding one whole clove as well, and all of these will help the ink to preserve and avoid getting mouldy in the vial. So there's a few things that have been done to prevent that. We've got the straining to remove any sediment, we've got the essential oil, and we've got the clove in there, and hopefully that should help to extend the life of this. So there we go, I made enough for 2 vials, so that's approximately 20 millilitres. That's not bad. So after it's dried out a little, it's definitely quite a nice, it's sort of a primrose yellow that I've got this time. So that's adding a second coat there. We'll go out in a week and forage some more gorse flowers, but I'm quite happy with what I've done so far. And I think I've shown you enough of the method so you can go and have a try of this yourselves. So this is it after that 3 coats of the gorse ink. I'm quite pleased, it's really standing out from the page. There's something really beautiful about painting a plant using the plant itself, and I'm going to be doing that a lot more throughout the year. So make sure you subscribe to keep up with the further ink recipes and more paintings in the journal. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.